Hey, welcome back to Mr. Mig's Classroom. Yesterday we left off talking about education and how that's going to affect your income in the future. Now, as I was saying, the degree type, there's definitely a correlation. As we can see here, if you drop out of high school, you're going to make far less than somebody who gets a PhD. Or even just each step of education definitely has a noticeable effect on the average income. But again, we're talking about averages here. So, but just to go back a little bit, we see if you graduate high school, on average, making $10,000 more a year than somebody who drops out. If you go to get an associate's degree, you're making nearly $17,000 more than someone who drops out, about $7,000 more than somebody with a high school diploma. And again, these are lifetime averages, not coming straight out of school. Somebody who gets a bachelor's degree, that's $30,000 more than somebody who drops out, right? $20,000 more than somebody with just a high school diploma. But that's not the full story. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you today is, especially when we're looking at the degree types. Bachelor degree, I think, is a great example. Oftentimes, I think it's pushed too much to just go and get a piece of paper. You go, you get your degree, and that's going to automatically make you successful. And I want to tell you, it's not just that. It's not just a piece of paper. Yes, again, there is correlation, but these numbers are averages. So just because you get a bachelor degree doesn't mean you will make $53,000 a year. Even midway through your career doesn't mean you'll make $53,000 a year. It's going to depend on what you study in. And again, just because you just get a high school diploma doesn't mean that you're going to be stuck at this. There's a lot of ways to get educated beside formal education. There's a lot of informal education, learning online, doing an apprenticeship, things of that nature that can definitely boost your income. When we look at bachelor degrees, however, we see a huge range in how much someone with a bachelor degree makes. For example, when we're looking at a bachelor degree in anthropology, seeing coming out of school, this is $28,000 a year. That's the average amount someone with an anthropology degree, a 4-year bachelor degree in anthropology, makes when they come out of college. The $47,000 is midway through their career. So folks with an anthropology degree with 10 plus years experience. So midway through your career, if you have an anthropology degree, you'll be making around $47,000. That's a whole lot less than computer science. Computer science, coming out of college, we see the average to be around $71,000 a year. Midway through their career, $116,000. So dramatically different. Now, there are some things that could make a difference in these pay scales besides just the nature of their job and how much you make. If you're working in computer science, there's a chance that you're going to be living in a more expensive area. We see a lot of computer science degrees in San Francisco. The cost of living there is far higher, so therefore the pays have to be higher. Same with New York. Same experience. Cost of living's higher, they happen to have more tech folks there, and therefore the pays have to be higher. A cashier in New York is making a whole lot more than a cashier in Macon, Georgia. But nonetheless, the averages, even if you're looking at anthropologists in New York, is going to be making less than a computer scientist in New York. Also, though, we want to factor in the fact that these folks are still paying usually the same amount for college. These are both 4-year degrees, so they're paying on average, the St. Louis Fed averages about $25,000 a year for a public school that you pay in tuition. So you're getting far less bang for your buck. And we look down here, this is computer science for an associate's degree, which is a 2-year degree. So this is 2 years. Sorry, my writing's not great. There we go, 2 years. And this is 4 years, so both of these are 4 years. This one too. And so computer science degree and associate's degree with 2-year degree, $40,000 starting out, $67,000. That's already higher than the 4-year degree here. And you can get an associate's degree from a community college where you'll pay somewhere around $500 a semester. Maybe you can stay home with your folks and continue living there. Maybe not, it depends on your situation. But the point is, even when you're just looking at tuition, it's far less. It's about 1/6 in this state, in the state of North Carolina, that you'll pay in tuition for an associate's degree versus a bachelor degree. And those are some things you want to think about when you're considering your degree. I want you to factor in more than just that. You want to do something that you're going to enjoy, but it's absolutely something that should be on the table, that you should be thinking about. Because again, I hear too often, just go to a university, go get the piece of paper, that's all that matters. It's a lie. It is not all that matters. Again, you have an anthropology degree, it's not the same as computer science degree. Also, when you look at unemployment rate, here is much higher. This is about double. An anthropology, someone with a bachelor degree in anthropology has about twice the unemployment rate as people with computer science degrees. So on average, the average person with an anthropology degree has twice the unemployment rate as those with a computer science degree. So it's much harder to get a job. Folks with a computer science degree, especially if you have programming skills, can get a job coming right out of school. Again, the degree is still not everything. If you just kind of sleep through and somehow manage to get your degree, but you haven't learned any programming languages or any real skills, then you're going to be on the lower end of this. Whereas if you've learned JavaScript, HTML, Python, all those things, you're going to be on the higher end. But nonetheless, that's usually what we see in those folks. So keep that in mind. And again, that's another thing I like to talk about when we look at these associate's degrees. That's why this right here is a good example of why I think they're often underrated. They're often forgotten about, because I think these can be great degrees, and I think the bachelor degrees are sometimes over-touted. So if you're in high school and you're thinking about going to college, or if you're in college and you're still trying to figure out those majors, those are something that you can keep in mind. One last tidbit before I cut the video off is I was reading on the U.S. News that the St. Louis Fed says that they average, in order to make a 4-year bachelor degree worthwhile, you have to land a job right after college making 40 grand or more, $40,000 a year or more. If you're getting something less than that, then chances are you're not going to get your return on your investment for going to college. Again, they estimate that college is about $25,000 a year, which isn't always the case for everybody. So one other thing I want to talk to you all about is ways to decrease the cost of college, and we'll talk about that in another video. I have some great ideas that can help bring that down. Especially if you live in my state of North Carolina, there are a lot of great options for you. But keep that in mind if you're looking at one of these degrees, and if you're solely going for this bachelor degree because you think it's going to make you more money, then I want you to consider the majors, because the majors have a huge effect on how much you can make. And if you're going to be in a major that's going to make you less than $40,000 a year, the degree, according to the St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank, is not worth it. Now, if you want to go into education, which in my state you'll start off at $35,000 a year, is going to be less than that $40,000 a year. I still think it could be worth it, not necessarily monetarily, but if you think you'd really enjoy that job, then it's still worth it. I love my job. It doesn't pay nearly as much as my old job, but it's a great job, best job I've ever had in my life. So if you're in a career you like, then it might be worth giving up the money. But if you're solely trying to get this bachelor degree so you can earn more money, then you want to pay attention to the major. If it's getting a bachelor degree just so you can get into education because you need a bachelor degree to be a teacher, then that's a different story. Hey, thanks for watching Mr. Mink's Classroom. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.